The definition of choosing yourself and betting on yourself is exactly what Jake Scott did. He went from having a state job with guaranteed pay, pension, benefits, all the good stuff, to leaving that all behind, betting on himself as an entrepreneur, and now he shared exactly how he's winning, what he's lost, and how he made $100,000 in 1 month. Watch the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Jake Scott out in PA. Talk to us, Jake. Tell us what you were doing before real estate, what you're doing now, and how far you've
Right.
come.
So, yeah, for those of you know, I'm a realtor. Before I got into this business, I'm in the central PA location or area. Before I got into this business, I was always obsessed with business in general. And I failed business venture prior to getting into this. I started in college and continued it right outside of college while I got my first job, I was a statistician coming out of college. I was a math major in college, became a statistician, and I worked that. It was really data entry. Absolutely hated the job. Beautiful benefits because it was with the Department of Labor and Industry. So I was a state employee, phenomenal benefits, but I did not like what I was doing. It was easy. It was very easy. I could work ahead. Um, and so after finally this business venture became a failed, I threw in the towel with the business venture. Started seeking other employment opportunities, sales of some sort, because I love sales. Fast forward, I COVID hits, and all of a sudden we're working from home, and I have a lot more time. I'm not gonna say a lot of the stuff on air of what I was doing, but I started applying for sales jobs, and then I reached out to a realtor of mine. This was 4.5 years ago, and said, "Hey, do you think I can make real estate work?" And she said, "As long as you can have your phone and you can communicate with your clients, yes." So to speed up this story, my first year I did 16 deals as a part-time realtor. Second year did 24. Third year did 30. And the second year I had my daughter, and the month she was born, my wife and I were going back and forth. Do I keep both jobs and she hangs it up as a teacher? Or do I give up my state job with all of these wonderful benefits and go all in on this career that's working for me? And she couldn't do it. She wanted to stay teaching. She wanted to do that. She loves the kids and loves helping out. And so the month my daughter was born, I made the toughest decision and I went all in on real estate.
Oh my
Yep.
God, that is
Probably
crazy.
stupid,
Probably
but I
stupid.
did
Okay, so probably
it.
stupid. In hindsight, then was it the right
Yeah.
choice?
Oh, 1000%. I don't regret it. It was the hardest decision of my life to do that right when my daughter was born was probably insane, but 100% the best decision of my life.
Well, I guess I'm curious then about that, and I want to go back to the statistician because I did not know about it. I did not know
Yeah.
that about you. But when
hmm
you made the decision, were there any like doubts in your brain, or were there any people doubting you around your circle? I know that was the decision that you made with your wife at that time, but did
hmm
any family, friends, like Jake, I don't know about
Yes.
this.
Yes. So I was thinking about it for probably 6 to 8 months. I was actually, honestly, I was thinking about it after my first year. So my first year, I made two times what I made salary at my state job. And part of me kept thinking, was that luck? Was that just the first year? Was it this? Was it that? Because again, you eat what you kill. See, I don't see the future business. I didn't have a pipeline. And so that was what made it difficult. And so as we were approaching the birth of my daughter, my wife and I kept thinking about what the right decision would be. And I made it clear if I made X by April, I would pull the trigger and do it. And that's exactly what happened. Now, in terms of friends and family, not necessarily friends were saying like don't do that. Family, on the other hand, that's a state job. You have wonderful benefits. You put your 20 years in and you have a pension. You get 30 days off a year between personal days and holidays. Like it was guaranteed. Job security was through the roof. I heard that constantly, which made it difficult. But at the end of the day, I knew that this was limitless. I knew that I could grow this and turn this truly into a business versus a job. And I was obsessed with business and I wanted to work for myself in the sense that, again, I wanted to wake up at 7, 6, 5, 6, 7 o'clock and work for myself, not, sleep in and call myself yeah, that's more or less, that was just,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Well,
it. Yeah.
I guess then I'm curious then because you talked about doubling your salary in 1 year. What was your salary before at this job, at this state job?
So at the state job, I was making just between 45 and 50.
So basically, you came into this business your first year, you made 100K, six figures.
I made 99. I was pissed.
99, you were pissed. You know what? But for you, we're gonna round up because you're a good guy.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna round up. It was
yeah.
you made 100,000.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man. So
Hmm.
you made 100,000 your first year. Your second year, you go from 16 to 24. That is when you make the decision to go full time when your daughter's
Hmm.
born. How much money did you make that year?
My second year, I will tell you. Oh, I know. After expenses, before taxes was around 125.
125. So that was just, you guys are keep increasing every single year and
Hmm.
year. And we talked a little bit before about, one of the biggest sales of your career. But before we do that though, I want to make sure the crowd and the audience is clear about something. You were you said a statistician. That's
Yeah,
with statistics.
yeah.
So
Which again, yeah, go ahead.
typically they think about salesmen. They think about people like me, slick talking, and then they're just like, he has no thought in his brain. But you are amazing with numbers. I have to assume that because that was your career, your background. How does somebody go from doing numbers, crunching numbers, being super analytical, data analyst? You said data entry. How does someone go from that to being a sales, savant like you?
I'll tell you. Um, when I got into the business, I didn't know it was sales. So I wasted about 4 months of just doing the typical posts on social media. Now I did do a lot of reach outs in the sense of everyone on my Facebook friends list. I messaged everyone in my contacts list. I messaged. It was absolutely horrific. It was like no skill at all. Hey, I'm a realtor. Let me know if you want someone to work with type of stuff. But more or less the social media posting, posting other properties that were for sale from other realtors, thinking that that would. So it was a lot of that stuff for the first 4 months, and then I came across our coach Brandon and changed my life. So I watched all of his free content on YouTube and it was gems. So immediately I started implementing calling like for sale by owners and stuff like that. But more than that, what really, really improved my skills was one, getting a role play partner, but two, I'm telling you, there's nothing more motivating than listening to success call after success call after. I guarantee my first year, I listened to every single success call that Brandon's had and hearing people saying, I have 5 actives, I have 3 actives, I have 3 pendings, I have 12 sales that like for the year or 18. I just kept thinking it would be so sick to be able to say I have 3 actives, 3 pendings. I couldn't even comprehend signing a listing a month. I just remember constantly listening to these podcasts of people who were doing better than me. And that alone was just constant push to trying to get better. And so yeah, it was the role playing and listening to the podcast and honestly investing in education.
Investing in yourself.
Yep.
And I feel like for those that don't know, an active listing, an active, what he's referring to is when a property he signs as a new client, they put it on the market, and a pending is when they get a deal going. So right now, we talked a little bit beforehand. He said he couldn't imagine having three actives, but right now he has three
Hmm.
actives. He has five pending. He has 19 closed for the year, so he's doing amazing. And yes, we did connect through Brandon Mulrenan's coaching program. And I used to do the same thing. I used to watch all the success story. I used to, damn, I can't believe this. I can't believe that. I can't wait to get to that point. And everybody that goes into Brandon Mulrenan's coaching program, they want to be the person that Brandon Mulrenan interviews. So you've been in that
Yep,
chair before. I've been in the chair before. It's a full circle moment because everybody
for
goes through
sure.
that. But talk to me about we met through Discord. The community. We've been going for a long time now, since like what,
Yep.
2024
For a minute, yeah.
September.
hmm
Talk to me about that. That's when you first started. That's when you joined the coaching program, or no?
I joined my first year and then I got out after a year and then I came back last year in September. Yep.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yep.
And when you talked about role play partner, how often did you role play? Like, what were you doing? What were you saying? What were you
Sure.
guys trying to achieve with the role play? I don't even know what that is. Talk to me.
So role play, so basically the role play partner is someone to hold you accountable every single day to sharpen your skills. Sales skills being phone script role playing. If not that, maybe listing presentation. I'll be honest, I slacked on prepping for that or practicing that, should I say. But it was more about what do I say on the phone when I get a prospect on the phone. So it was prepping that Monday through Friday, same time. It was tough to find somebody who would be around my schedule because I dropped my daughter off in the morning. So a lot of the times I would do it, but like at 5 o'clock in the morning, my first year. And then there were times that I would do it around 6:15 for a while. So Monday through Friday, no ifs, ands, or buts, we'd practice. I'd get a rep in, calling an expired listing, calling a for sale by owner, calling a circle dial. They'd get a rep in, calling one of those, and that's the role play session. We give each other feedback on to the next day. So more or less, like that's what the practice was, because the last thing you want to do is practice on the person you're going to call. So again, if I wake up and the first time I hop on a call is with an actual human being, potential like client, I might sound like an idiot that very first conversation because I didn't practice that morning. So
Wow.
you just, yeah.
So practice, practice, practice is what I hear. And incredible that you sacrificed so much hours in the day and waking up at 5 in the morning, waking up at 5 in the morning, pro playing at 5 in the morning, doing it at 6:15, of course, regarding to your schedule. I guess that takes to your level of dedication, and that's why you are where you are now.
Mhm.
When you were going through that journey though, like what was like something that you look back and you're like, wow, this is, I can't believe I started doing that, but I'm so glad that I continued doing that. Like, what is a hindsight? You know how everybody says, I look back and I shouldn't have done that. What's a thing that you look back and I'm so glad I did it that way.
Honestly, when I started out, I was just like not searching for all of the right answers. I was just let me go back. So I started this business and I started with the nonsense that didn't work. So like when I did this, I was posting on social media. I was just sending out texts and messages in Facebook and posting these day two of a real estate agent and on a TikTok video, day three, day four, posting these TikTok videos of like just nonsense, like facts about the real estate industry, hoping and praying that that would bring me business. When in reality, no one's picking up the phone and calling me unless one, I do it for years and my brand is through the roof. Um, or two, I pay for some sort of advertising. And at least that's what I think. And so I did all of that and I failed miserably. And I realized I needed to search for some help. And I stumbled upon a coach, and it was very hard to rip the band-aid off and spend the money. But I just looked at it as a no-brainer because if I invest $5,000, $7,000 on a coach, if I can just turn everything that he's going to give me in terms of skills and material and all of it into one sale, it's 100% ROI. And so, like, I struggled first, and I don't regret the struggle because it was hard. And the hardest part of the job is how do you find business? How do you get someone to believe in you and trust you enough to be the person who represents them? And so that's what I don't regret. I don't wish to get rid of the struggle early on, and I also don't wish to. And I'm happy that I learned the way that I did.
Yeah, because you learned, I mean, I think everybody had kind of that learning curve in the beginning. When they get into this business, they all think it's like, oh, you set an open house, you pop a check, a 10 grand, 15 grand. Oh, it's like talking sunset, whatever,
hmm
walking sunset in
hmm
LA or
Selling
whatever.
Sun Dam.
Yeah, selling sunset.
Hmm
But I think that's the best way to learn. And you look back and you're kind of, it sounds like you're more appreciative that you didn't have everything figured out. And you had to learn the
Yes.
hard way. You had to keep failing. You had to keep posting those TikToks for you to realize nobody's calling me. So think I got to start calling people. Um,
Hmm.
and
And it's motivating. It's like so motivating to like because I struggled so much. And there were times where I was like, dang, like I don't know if this is gonna work. Because if you think about it, my first year I closed 16 deals. I didn't close my second one until month 6. Like, think about
wow.
that. So like at month 4, if I would have stopped or pivoted and tried some other shiny object, who the heck knows if I would have succeeded? Because as soon as because again, I don't know if I would have ended back up on the phone making outbound calls. I don't know. And so thank God I just continued with blind faith, and all of a sudden it goes. But I struggled, and that's the last thing I want to do is get back to that moment where I'm like, where the heck's business? So
I feel like
yeah.
every entrepreneur gets to that point where they're like, okay, we were in this hole once, we're never gonna get back there ever again. But let's stick on this
Hmm.
because you know what? What I realized, people love the struggle because they want to root for the hero. So you're in
Hmm.
month four, first year in the business, you have like no deals pending. Your second deal comes in month six. What are you thinking? Like, what is your wife thinking? What's going through everybody's
Yeah,
head?
I'll tell you. My very first true, because I got into this business with somebody literally waiting on me to get my real estate license so they could hire me. Thank you, Stephanie. Like, I thought that was really cool of her. She knew my family. She waited on this new agent and trusted that I would get the job done, and I did, which was cool. Um, but when I signed my real first listing agreement, oh my God, it was like so my very first listing appointment, it came down to me and one other agent, and I lost. And that motivated me. It broke my heart, but I'm like, holy, like I just it opened my eyes and I was like, I'm right there. I am right there. And then I signed my first listing agreement and I was like, holy shit, like I did it. Like I did what is so damn difficult. And if I can do it once, I can create a repeatable process. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. So like I broke a belief, like a limiting belief. And so then I started tracking my PRs. Signed 2 listings this month. Why can't I sign 2 listings every single month? I signed 7 listings a month. Now, I'm not there yet. I signed 7 listings in a month, and I'm like, why can't I sign 7 listings every single month? There is something that's working, and I just have to figure out exactly how to create this process and a repeatable process, so that way I can just strive um, consistently upward.
And
But
amplify.
it's just like so motivating.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no,
Hmm.
that's so when the first time you do something and you're like, wow, I just did it. If I just do this 10 more times, 50 more times,
Hmm.
we're talking about a whole different financial, snapshot. And one of the things that I love and I respect about you, Jake, is the other day you're a really big family guy. The other day we were having this discussion. We talked about like our goals and aspirations, and you told me
Hmm.
straight up, you're like, I don't know if the trade-off of all the time that I'll put into the business if it's worth it if I'm not spending it with my daughter.
Yep.
And that's huge. Like not a lot of
Hmm.
people can admit that, and that's like the path that nobody talks about. The
Yep.
trade-off, the sacrifice. So what I guess I'm curious about is like how do you get to like do it? How do you get to be such an ambitious guy, a killer in your own right, but then also be the family guy that we know and love you for?
So there's a few reasons I'm able to do it. One, my wife supports me with everything, like everything in this business, and I couldn't be happier with how much support she gives me. Tells me all the time, take the weekend to do what you need to do, evenings to do what you want to do. But I'll tell you, even though that's the case, I don't want to miss those evenings, and even though that's the case, I don't want to miss the weekends. Occasionally, I'll miss the week, like a weekend or two. Occasionally, I'll miss an evening or two, but I don't want to make a habit of it. I want it to be consistent. And so if I have to go slower to get to that destination by building more demand and whatever the case may be, I will do that. Where that comes from is I saw my mom, my dad, and my brother work all day, every single freaking day. So like my mom, she would work all day and it go into the evenings. And because she's a salaried employee, she had to work until boss was like, it's okay. And that's insane to me. I saw my dad work 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week
Wow.
to not make a ton of money. I and it's insane how much effort and how many hours put into a career and truly not be of your value. Because I think both of my parents are worth way more than what they're currently earning. I really do. Um, to see my brother work 80 hours a week. Now he made a lot of money doing that. And he worked 80 hours a week. He would be up at the office at 4 a.m. sometimes, 5 a.m., and not leave until 8 p.m. and missed a lot when he was younger. So like I saw that as like the youngest kid in the family. And it was just something I never, ever, ever, ever wanted to like sacrifice. Now I know that some temporary sacrifice means some long-term rewards and all of that. And so like that's a very hard thing to balance. But like I saw that firsthand, and that's not, I don't want to miss anything that my daughter, like any event that she has, sporting events, first day of school, anything like that. I do not want to miss it at all. Birthdays, I don't want to miss them. I always want to be there. And so that is hard to like balance and all of that. But I just set that as like a number one priority. At the end of the day, it's the priority, and I will figure it out another way. So when I'm having my conversations, would 3 p.m. or would 4 p.m. work better for you, Mr. Seller? Would if I told you this Saturday wouldn't work for me, I have to imagine you wouldn't schedule Monday or Tuesday next week. Am I right? No, 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 not that's perfect. Let's schedule Monday then. Like I make it so like again, they are number one. And again, you get some people who say, "Nope, it has to be. I'm traveling in town and I'm meeting with three realtors, and that's the end of it." Okay, and again, my wife has my back and supports me, and I'll do it. But that's how I've always run it, and will always run it.
That's amazing. Being so detached from like any sale, anything, because you know the most important thing is your family. You're a beautiful daughter,
Yep.
you're a beautiful wife, and you
Hmm.
want to be with them the weekends, the evenings. Yes, sometimes there's a hit or miss there, but that's why you are the person you are, and that's why, you're succeeding so at such a high level that no realtor, typically succeeds like this.
Thanks.
I guess how important is it like if how do I say this? How important was it to find, your wife? Like how crucial is she to the role that you're playing now in your business?
So, what do you
As
mean by that?
as far as like you say she's so supportive and she, hey, babe, if you need to do this, you need to do that. If you need to take the weekend off, like if you
No.
if you weren't with her right now, where would you be?
I'll tell you. I see so many different relationships, and I would never, ever, ever put myself in anybody else's shoes ever. Um, but a lot of the times, like there's agents in my office, honestly, that are dealing with it. But like there are couples out there that if it's brought into the evenings, it's a no. You know what I mean? And she's never made me feel like that. She also has kept me vision focused because when I got into this career, she looked me straight because she knows how much of a business freak I am up here. And I jumped from business to business to business. She's like, if you do real estate, you go all in on it and nothing else. And who would have thought that that's the same advice that our coach would give? Go all in on one freaking thing. And it makes so much sense because she knows obviously my potential, but she's always supported me. She's always celebrated my wins in the career. And she's always just been there and like so understanding. I just went on a 7-day vacation, and guess what? I was pulled from vacation because two or three properties went under contract over the last 7 days, which required some negotiating, some hour conversations with realtors, hour conversations with clients, and she was so okay with it. She's frustrated at times, obviously, who wouldn't be, but she understands, and that's all you can ask for because again, she knows that it's for them at the end of the day,
They
and
always
does a really good job at like having my daughter understand that as well. Daddy's working, making me monies. Thank you, Daddy. Like you can't beat that. And
look at
so
this. Look at the
she's a
smile on your face.
supporter.
Listen, man, I didn't even know you had that much teeth. Look at the smile on your face right now talking about your wife. You better give her a
Hmm.
kiss on the forehead when you get home, all right? 'Cause
Hmm.
she sounds like an
Hmm.
amazing woman. They always say behind the great man is even as an even better woman. So
Yeah.
kudos to you for finding her. I guess you talked about a little bit about your wins, the properties under contract, vacation. You just closed a really big deal not too long ago. Talk to us about that.
So in my market right now, my average sale price, taking this one deal out, is between three and 400,000. So, and it's honestly only gone up since first year, second year, and so forth. So, like, and any listings that are north of a million, north of 2 million, tend to sit a lot longer. And in my market, it's honestly like closer to 12 months. Um, got a listing, $2 million, put it on the market. We found a buyer and we just closed it, and it was the largest deal of my career, which is insane. And package that with also a very strong month of closings, which was one of the most homes I've sold in a single month. It was like a career month. And it was just like, what's insane about this business is it's so many ups and so many downs and so many ups and so many downs. And you truly don't know until you're sitting there December 31st, looking back and seeing, what did I do? And this is what I've earned, because it's a commission business. And sure, I made X amount first year, second year I made something, third year I made something. But with this type of deal at $2 million, which is not, again, that might be the most I ever sell in my career for one transaction, because like it doesn't happen ever. But with that happening, it was just a huge, like, because it put me further ahead than last year. A little bit of luck, obviously, because like who the, but at the end of the day, it's just like, oh my goodness, like it's just like life changing, which is really cool.
You know, they say the people that work the hardest, they get luckier. The harder you work, the luckier
Yeah,
you get. So we don't complain
yeah,
about that here. So you said a record month. What
yeah.
what did what does that look like? You said you had a couple closings. How much closings were that? How many closings were there? And what did that look like for you GCI wise?
Six closings.
Let's
Let's
effing
effing
go.
go. Thank you, remember, to my office manager. 110.
A
Most I've ever
hundred
made.
and ten
Bef-
thousand dollars. Oh my
And
God.
that's
Wait, wait,
like, and
wait.
it's my, and I'm telling you, the most I've ever made in a month was 45. And that was a big month. So like, uh, my average month is anywhere from like 15 to 20 on average,
Incredible,
typically.
incredible.
Hmm.
And
It
you know
was
what's
insane.
crazy? You said it's 110. Dude, your first job, the job that you were working for the state, you were
Yeah.
making 45 to $55,000 a year.
It's cool.
How does that make you feel? No, no, no. Forget about the it's cool. How does that make you feel, man?
Hype. Because like, again, like you work so hard, and again, there's just so many ups and downs. There's so much stress behind everything. You never know what's coming. You never know when you're going to be in a slump. And so, like, when that finally like happens, it's like, oh yeah. Like, it's just like I've worked so damn hard, and to like have that happen and just put you in such a more relaxed situation. Again, I'm not going to take off, like, let off the gas. Like, that's not happening. That's not ever in my blood. But it's just like that stress of like, dang, I just hired an executive administrator and I'm paying her quite a bit of money every, like, it's like, wow. It's just like, it's like honestly like a freebie. Like, here you go. Now make something of it. So that's what it feels like. So it's just freaking awesome. It's awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you, Jake.
Yeah.
I guess you watch the pod a lot. And my
Of
favorite questions,
course.
I maybe once or twice, I don't know. But I asked my favorite question. I'm gonna ask it to you. When your back's against the wall, listen, I know you just came off of a stupid month, but you talked about slumps. We've been there. I've been there. You've been through the lows where you can't get anybody on the phone. You can't sign anybody in person. Nobody wants to talk to you. You feel like you're a POS. Nothing can go right in this entrepreneur sport. And in that position, when your back's against the wall, because already, Jake, you've already been here. Who do you want?
I'll tell you. Me 100% of the time. 100% of the time. I will figure the shit out. I in the lowest of lows, like I'm a very happy person. Like every time, I don't know if you've ever seen me pissed off or upset
Never,
genuinely.
never.
And so like And for things that like really mess with me, like, dang, that sets me back. It sets me back for an hour. Like I'm moving on, it's behind me. And I know at the end of the day, I am the one who's going to control my future. And I'm always going to ask for the ball. I'm always going to go all in on me because I know what I can do. And it's all about belief. And not a lot of people are wired like the optimistic person I am. And yeah, it's always going to be me. I
Always
don't,
you.
always me, always me.
And that's why you are who you are. And you know what's funny? Alex Hormozy, I'm sure you know who he is.
Yes.
He always talks about the most successful people. One of the traits that they measure for the most successful people is how quickly they can get back to baseline when they're frustrated, when they're upset, when something bad happens to you. And listen to that. Something can throw you off completely and you get back to baseline in 1 hour. You get back to being your positive self, optimistic. Let's go, let's do it. That happened,
Yep.
but cool, that's fine. And that's impressive, that's powerful. So I guess, Jake, one more thing I gotta ask you before we go here. For that person that's in the home, they're in the house watching the podcast and like, you know what, Jake is incredible, he's a dog. But I don't know if I can do something like this for myself. I don't know if I can actually, take the ball from the half court, dribble up to the 3-point line and shoot the shot with 3 seconds left. I don't know if I can actually be an entrepreneur. What would you tell them? Like, what would your feedback be to them?
I will tell you that I was surrounded by nothing business. Like, not a single person in my family was a business-minded individual. And I would argue that I wasn't a business-minded individual until I came across, honestly, like, first time I got introduced to sales was my father-in-law. And I was like, that is sick. Like, because I don't mind working. Like, I'm a big believer in it. It's easy to work hard. It's easy to give your best effort. Like, it's a choice, it's a decision. Anyone can do that. And I don't think I was like a C student. Like, I wasn't, like, I was good at math and horrible at English, horrible at social studies, horrible at all the other stuff. But my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, they all were not business thinkers. And so you surround yourself with high achievers. And just so you know, if you don't know anybody like that, hop on and listen to these high entrepreneur business podcasts. The Brandon Morenin, like, creator, like all of his creative, Alex Hormozy, business minded, Dan Martell, business minded. Listen to a ton of business related stuff. All of a sudden, you're going to find yourself really, really like knowing the lingo, knowing like how to operate and how to think. And it's all of a sudden you feel as though you belong in that circle because that's all you're really feeding your brain. And so I'm going to say everyone is created equally. They come out of the womb and they don't have any skills. And sure, some people grow up in harder situations, but like Alex Hormozy says, there's somebody who's had it worse, who's done it better. And I love that quote because it's like, what the hell is your excuse? You can use that excuse or you can use it as motivation to get to the next level. And so like, just, believe in yourself, watch all of the successes. So all of a sudden that ceiling that you have for yourself can maybe get a little bit higher and just go all in on education. And you can learn something and then apply it and implement it.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I would say.
you know what's crazy? You said, your family, your sister, your mom wasn't business thinkers, but in the work that they've been in, they work so many long hours, like you said in the beginning. They don't have an opportunity to even think
Bingo.
about that. And the
Yep.
people that are
100%.
watching, because I'm sure if they're anything like you, they can freaking do anything. You said it, like you said it yourself.
100%. 100%.
You said it yourself that they're not what they get paid is not their value, and that's the truth.
Nope.
That's the truth.
100%.
So the people that are watching right now, Jake is telling you, go out there, find some people that you can relate to, listen to what they have to say, surround yourself with success, and inevitably what happens is your bar just starts raising and you want better for
Yep.
yourself and you start challenging yourself and you start inspiring yourself. And then you know what happens? You start to believe in yourself. And
Bingo.
that's the most powerful thing. And it's very simple. Wouldn't you agree?
It is. The hardest part is right all up here because anyone can feel as though they don't belong and anyone can feel as though that's impossible for them. But as soon as you have enough of the right people, that you surround yourself with enough of the right people, they're going to be your biggest cheerleaders and supporters and say, you can do it. You can do it. And then when you witness success, right? Like we Rob Neely, for example, and other big killers like Asher Black, like you see what they were just like us. You know what I mean? And boom. And again, they're like animals. But if they can do it, why can't you?
Why
You know what I
can't we?
mean?
Yeah, that
Like
we all
like
bleed
you.
blood.
There's an agent in my market who sells over 150 plus homes a year. His first year in the business, he did one deal. His second year in the in this, you know what I mean? His second year in the business, he did six. I surpassed both of those. So he learned something that I still am trying to figure out, and I know that that's out there for me. So like that's how it is.
Incredible, incredible. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what's also very, I guess, not eye-opening, but I guess it's super easy to understand how me, you, Rob Neely, Anthony Ramirez, how Tucker Cummings all look up to the same guys. It's either the
Mm-hmm.
Alex Hormozis of the world, the Brandon
Yeah.
Morenans of the world, the Jeff Glover. Everybody that's done it at scale, everybody that's done it. We just listen to what they do, we just implement. And the people that
Yes.
have done it better, they're just implementing better than us. And if they can do it, why can't we?
100%.
All right.
1000%.